Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today we are going to be talking about HEESEUNG, also known now as Even. As most of you already know, last March he shocked everybody by leaving his group enhypen to focus entirely on his solo career. Now that his official debut is finally here, social media is flooded with mixed opinions regarding his song, the choreography, and basically everything surrounding his debut. So without further ado, let's get started. First, I would like to revisit the theories about why he left the group in the first place, something we briefly touched upon in my previous video. Originally, I believed that leaving was his own personal decision. However, a lot of people disagreed at the time, with theories saying Believe left or Hybe had actually kicked him out for different hidden reasons. As time has passed, it has become even more clear that HEESEUNG himself was the one who didn't want to continue as a member of enhypen. Or, to put it more accurately, he stated that the company had told him that he could not balance being part of the group with pursuing a solo career at the same time. He had to choose, and he chose to pursue a solo career. But that explanation doesn't make much sense to many fans, as we have seen other boy groups under Hybe successfully balance massive solo projects without leaving their respective groups, such as BTS and TXT. This leaves us with two main possibilities. The first one is that Hybe has a different and a strict strategy for enhypen. Perhaps management wanted enhypen to remain unified, blocking any official solo debuts until after the initial 7-year contracts are up for renegotiation. And the second one is about the ambition of the solo project. HEESEUNG's vision for his solo career might have been so demanding and broad that it was impossible to maintain both paths. My take is that, as I mentioned before, removing a member from an incredibly popular established group to launch a solo career is an extreme gamble. The agency had no real way of knowing how the public would react, whether the music would resonate, or if he could handle the pressure alone. Yet, they risked losing one of the most core members of enhypen just because he wanted to go solo. I understand that it's his decision and I've respected it from the beginning, but I don't understand why it was so difficult to make his solo debut while still in the group, just to see how the audience would react and then decide. Because making your debut as HEESEUNG, as a member of enhypen, isn't the same as making your debut as simply HEESEUNG. There are enhypen fans who wouldn't connect with the members individually. What catches many people's attention is when they are together. It's something you see almost always with the members of project groups. I could mention 101 or IOI. Their careers were hugely successful, but when the members moved on to other groups or went solo, they weren't as popular anymore. Not because they suddenly lacked talent, but because the group's names carry so much weight. And with a combination of other factors, let's say you go to another group or debut solo, perhaps you're not longer seen as quite as interesting. And I think that's what happened with Even. Many people who liked enhypen, and from whom HEESEUNG was even their bias, aren't interested in his solo career because it's not the context they are used to or prefer. But nothing can be done now. The debut is officially here, and as always, the fandom is divided over his title track, Ride or Die. Personally, I think the song is quite good, but I'm not sure if it carries his signature vibe. I genuinely expected him to release something completely different from enhypen's discography. Perhaps it was just my own perception, but I envisioned a musical direction that leaned heavily into emotional ballads or R&B tracks, genres where his incredible vocals could take center stage in a way that enhypen's recent title tracks didn't allow. Instead, we got a track that, while it's not identical to enhypen's exact concept, feels like something the group could easily perform. In the video where I talked about his departure, I mentioned that the songs enhypen had been releasing recently weren't what made HEESEUNG shine, and that perhaps he would left so he could shine, but now I don't understand what's going on. Why leave a successful group, claiming you want a different artistic direction, only to release a song that sounds so much like your former group? Also, the track relies heavily on autotune. While it's a great tool, it feels counterintuitive for a vocalist of his tier. I can't help but feel that with better creative direction, his debut could have had a much more stronger impact. On Twitter, people are harshly mocking the choreography and the styling, claiming that they don't match the song at all. Some are even calling the dance boring or comparing it to a JoJo Siwa routine. I've also seen fans wondering why is he promoting under a rookie title now? This actually makes a lot of sense within Korean cultural and industry norms. If he were to debut as a solo artist but demand the immediate hierarchy and senior respect of a veteran idol, it could spark a controversy. It's completely normal if he feels terrified right now. He took a massive risk leaving a powerhouse group like enhypen. Personally, I think he could have played it safer. With only a year or so left on enhypen's initial contract, he could have waited it out. We all know initial K-pop contracts are unfair unfavorable to rookies. However, once the 7 mark hits and you have a huge influence, you can renegotiate terms that benefit you, allowing for solo freedom while staying in the group. By leaving early, he gave up that leverage. But perhaps we are forgetting a simple truth. Maybe he just didn't want to be in the group anymore. As an engine who has seen them live, that's a hard pill to swallow. I see fans claiming he ruined the group or feeling betrayed, but I don't feel that way. If some members choose to walk away to pursue their own happiness, that is their right. You either support them or move on. Throwing hates achieves nothing. The current narrative online has unfortunately turned into enhypen versus HEESEUNG, fueled by the fact that none of the enhypen members publicly congratulated Even on his debut, and to top it all off, during a recent live, an enhypen song came on at shuffle, and Even coughed, and looking a bit uncomfortable, skipped it.
너희가 말 안 해도 안 할걸? 그리고 이제
So, is there any bad blood? There are 2 options. The option A is that yes, their friendship fell apart due to the exit, or the friendship broke and then he left. And option B is that management is separating their brands. We will likely never know the truth, but assuming they hate each other just because of a missing social media post isn't fair. I'm sure they had a difficult conversation, and I clearly don't know how their relationship is like, but we'll never know until they say so, if they ever do, so speculating seems pointless to me. On a final note, regarding the musical reception, many netizens are comparing his sound to artists like Chase Atlantic, saying that Ride or Die sounds like a track Chase Atlantic rejected, and that they expected more from him, and saying that he left a popular group in Korea just to join the 500 American artists who make this sort of music, and that the concept doesn't suit him at all. Looking at numbers, people are already comparing his debut to the solo releases of TXT members like Yeonjun or Bombgyu. Currently, Even is pulling in slightly fewer Spotify streams than they did, which is surprising considering his departure was surrounded by a massive controversy and anticipation. And that makes me wonder what will happen to Even's career and enhypen's. There is no denying that enhypen will continue to be a massive powerhouse in the industry. Yes, HEESEUNG was a core member of the group, an all-rounder who could sing, dance, and rap smoothly. However, HYBE has built such an incredibly and loyal fandom for the group that they aren't going to suddenly decline just because they are missing a member, regardless of who that member is. That being said, the group's dynamic is definitely going to have to shift. HEESEUNG was the main vocalist, and replacing that specific vocal color isn't easy, while members like Sunwoo and Jungwon and will undoubtedly step up to hit those high notes. The overall identity of the group will feel a bit different from now on. When it comes to Even's solo career, the future is unpredictable. To be fair, if you look at the current landscape, there aren't many highly successful, active male soloists, especially not with this specific dark, atmospheric concept. On one hand, this could work in his favor. There is a clear gap in the market right now, and Even could easily claim that niche as his own. On the other hand, the lack of successful examples with this sound might just mean that the general public isn't interested in it. It feels like a very Western, US-centric concept, tailored almost exclusively for international fans rather than the domestic Korean public. And even if it's hard to admit, without the Korean public, most K-pop artists are fucked. We also cannot overlook the notorious ex-member stigma in K-pop. Historically, the industry has a tendency to punish artists who leave their official agencies or groups. A clear example of this is Dawn, formerly of Pentagon. Despite gaining an overwhelming amount of media attention during the buzz of his public relationship, his long-term solo career didn't maintain that same level of popularity. Right now, everyone is tuning in to Evan because he's the ultimate trending topic, but who knows if he can sustain this level of public attention a few months or years down the line. It's a harsh truth, but if he doesn't consistently deliver undeniable hits, the general public will move on, which would be incredibly tragic given his immense talent. Also, leaving the comfort and stability of a group that easily fills massive stadiums to start back from zero, likely performing in small venues or not touring at all initially, it's a brutal psychological blow. The mental pressure on him right now must be through the roof, especially with the internet yelling his music is trash. And as a soloist, you have no safety net. There are no other members to share the formation with or cover for you. Your flaws are magnified 100% of the time under the spotlight. This has actually sparked a huge debate regarding his performance skills. Some videos of his debut choreography have been posted with lots of comments wondering whether he's always danced this badly or nobody have noticed, or whether as a part of the group their mistakes were less noticeable and collective strengths were amplified. I really hope the pressure doesn't get to him, and that he carries on making the music he loves, wherever that might be. If he generally feels that this alternative R&B style is his true artistic calling, he should stay true to himself. However, I can't help but think that if Hybe realizes that his current experimental direction isn't delivering the expectation commercial results, they will push him towards a different, more commercial path. Honestly, that might actually be the best option for his long-term career, but I don't think he would like the idea of leaving a group to make the music he loves only for his music not to be well received once, leading the company to make decisions for him, but I suppose only time will tell.
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did, it would help me a lot. See ya.